we do this then? Can we
do it on the 10th?
Sure.
The timeline is a little tight for me, and I have to
Sure.
send
Every day
out,
matters.
well, I have to send out the budget. There's a process that goes with the budget.
I have the CDD meeting.
So what day? So what are we doing? 10?
9:30?
So I might not be able to be here.
You are. 6:30 a.m.? Or you want another time?
So can we do this? Could we get whatever information we want out to the other people? I sent them the rolling 12 and the financials.
Can you send me what you sent them?
Yes,
Thank you.
I can do that.
Yes,
Yes.
for information only, and then I can share.
I will
Perfect.
do that.
So hold on, we're moving the 9th to the 10th.
Yes.
Like I said, I may have a conflict.
Okay.
Figure it out.
I'll send that.
And then what do we want to do?
Yeah, I know, I'll cancel it.
It's gonna be the final budget.
It's gonna be approving the not to exceed budget, and then you may have this other management company if you want me to change it.
Conversation, like for a presentation.
I think that's all.
Not
we can do on the
communication.
agenda that day.
No presentations.
So what you're saying is we're discussing the process.
Yes.
So wait, so on the 9th, we're first gonna discuss who we're gonna, who we're bringing in, or not,
Yes,
on the 10th?
The 10th.
we're gonna discuss the process so that we can make sure that whoever anybody's talked to is gonna get the same information. And then we'll define the dates that people can come. But basically, the process will be defined.
So probably reasonable.
Right,
And
so Linda and I were just saying, even when you don't do, I mean, we have CDs, where you, let's say it's a landscape contract, it's only $50,000. So you're not required to do a formal RFP where you're, placing the ad in the paper and stuff. You still have develop a scope and provide that same scope to all the same potential bids. For instance.
So if you wanna work on that, Rich, because I know you've been working on stuff to bring and present on the 10th, then we can all provide the same.
I will send an email, everybody an email. Could I send them an email of what I sent, or send it to Glenn? Okay. I will do that. I'll send them, that's all.
We're not doing a walkabout.
Robert, to move into the discussion regarding inconsistencies within the reserve study.
It wasn't me.
That was me, we kind of discussed that.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah, like I said, they're just, yeah, it was stupid stuff. We should, we can, when we discuss reserve study, that's really,
Okay,
we're good.
so, okay, it was 7 minutes. Right?
Now, the La Sala update.
Yeah, so quickly, I wanted to just, update you all on, where the LaSalle work group is. And just give you one thing to think about. So we had a first meeting with the architect, John Swidrock from AUDK. The goal right now is to get some options, for floor plans, because that's gonna let us get some pricing. So we have a meeting set with him, not next week, but the week after. He's gonna bring, if you will, a book of concepts. There are kind of 3 things we're thinking about. One of the things I did want to share is when John did come for our meeting week before last, he and Bob Rufato did go upstairs in the storage area, and there are apparently some masonry walls that might present something of a challenge. We're not 100% sure yet, and there are some plumbing and other electrical things that may present something of a problem, or at least a challenge. But one of the things we we've talked about in residence 1 is using the veranda, and there were I just leave you with the Onions Bruce. It was a little bit of some creative ideas about how we can gain some space without moving tons of walls, I think, which will help us with the price. We also discussed with him, very helpful, square foot per diner. We're looking for things that will help us do a financial analysis. So, whatever, I'm not gonna throw out numbers, but when we do get to throwing out rough ballpark numbers, at least we can start to think about a return. And then John is very well aware and told us that we're typically, versus his typical client, are much further along in terms of what it is we want. Sometimes people go and don't really have a great idea of what it is they're looking for, but I think because of the amount of input we had from the residents, it was helpful. You know, we said, look, larger physical bar and bar space with a casual vibe, screening the outdoor space and flow, which is better for the residents, but also for efficiency, because we've been talking to Julie about staff efficiency. So we will meet, well, actually we'll meet John just after the next board meeting. Unfortunately, it's gonna be the Tuesday after. We had to kind of squiggle that around, but soon you will see some rough concepts. I did want to let you know one of the things, because this relates to the budget. Just two quick things. The first thing, actually, we've already talked about one. But the other is, you know, when we get to communicating the resident stuff, we're gonna want to think about a little bit of spend. I mean, a small number, maybe just into 5 figures on putting together some communication materials for residents, to help people understand, you know, what the project is and where it's going at the right point. It wouldn't be super soon, but it would be during the fiscal year 25-26 year. So we may want to put a plug in the budget for a small number that's related to LaSalle, that's for communication only. So that was what I wanted to tell you. And that's what any questions? Nope. Cool. Really happy with how it's going, let me put it that way. Very excited.
We now have item number 5K, which is the consideration of the pressure washing proposals. These are number 1 for your review.
Yay.
There were 2 proposals received. The first one is from Immaculate Exteriors for $13,250, and the second one was from Southwest Sharks, $18,697.03.
So Keith, this looks like it takes care of everything on the sidewalks where there's CDD property that's not residential property, is that
It
correct?
goes up, like in each road, you take a left into Montaluna.
Yeah,
It goes up to the house,
Okay.
the property, and it takes care of that side,
okay,
and then back out.
okay, cool.
And then out by the little backwash, you know, with the white fences in there.
Yes.
In front of those.
Okay,
Um,
okay. And then that area, like in front of the golf course by between 6 and 7 and all that kind of stuff, it takes care of all that, perfect, perfect.
Was there a difference in when they could do the work? Do you know?
I think that Sharks was, you know, he needs about a month, and then Nick is
Same problem.
probably as
Yeah.
much. I mean, we've done enough with Nick that,
Yeah.
you know, we can have a
I'll
discussion
call it
with
a feet before. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the immaculate.
Yeah,
We can discuss.
yeah, my only question is, it's gotta get done, so I don't know. Is the effect of this sodium hypochlorite on the grass, and the turf, especially on the new side? It's not gonna,
It hasn't had any issues over the last, you know, 6 years that we've done it.
okay, all
I
right.
think he's just gonna have to water the heck out
Yeah,
of
that's-
the
I'm
nickel
just-
before he
because-
starts putting
yeah,
stuff on.
Yeah, because I've had some work done and the guys did it and they
Yeah.
didn't do as good of enough job as they did. I got burnt out, I just want to make sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had
Yeah.
burnout from that.
I've had other people.
Oh, no, it wasn't Nick.
I know
It wasn't
other
Nick.
people.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't- but-
Yeah, not Nick, but I know other
Okay.
people who had like significant burning on their grass.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they were hosing it down, and, so I had my roof done, and they were hosing the grass down, you know, some of the trains were hitting the grass, and they were still hosing down, and it still had to burn out, I just wanna make sure that we're not
Okay,
creating
yeah,
that.
good point. Well, I second Jill's motion for immaculate.
That would be subject to preparation of agreement by district council.
Any
Any further discussion?
We're both free. Okay.
All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Bless you.
Bless you.
We now have item number 6A, which is the consideration of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting held on March 10th, 2025. These are behind tab number 2 for your review. Are there any questions, comments, and/or changes to the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Jill, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
We now have item number 6B, which is a ratification of the operations and maintenance expenditures for the month of March 2025. These are behind tab number 3 for your review. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got to find it.
It is. Actually, it's maybe two. Yeah.
Yeah, what lighting fixtures did we buy?
For the mailboxes.
What electric, that's my box? All right,
Any other questions? Then we'd be looking for a motion to ratify.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye. We're now gonna move into consent items. There's one item for your acceptance, which is the Fitness and Pool Advisory Committee meeting minutes of February 19th. Any questions? We'd be looking for a motion to accept.
Move we accept.
Motion by Ken, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Advisory Committee liaison reports? Any reports?
I just actually, I misspoke a little bit before about there's a lot of other damage to the main buildings too, so I think the painting really is something we need to look at. I'll mention that, so the question is, do you want me to still give you a two-tier proposal for just the towers and the building, even though there's a lot of issues on the buildings themselves, because the front portico has some issues and the back has some issues. I mean, I could drive these guys crazy. I don't want to have them come out for the fourth time, but you tell me what you want.
I would love to see the towers and then the whole package.
That works.
Okay,
I think that works, yeah.
I will do that.
And then I would like to know, I would like us, when we talk next time, it would be helpful to have your plan on how you, color will be chosen. I'm really worried about that, that could take 6 months.
Well, I said,
The color is chosen.
I mentioned to the committee and they kind of agreed. I'm on the ACC committee. Everybody who paints the house has to put an application in. I've got every color that everybody's chosen for the last 2 years. Everybody's picked the house color very similar to yours between mine, except for 2 people. One went beige and one is the existing color. Everybody else went to a taupey gray. I think we just go with what 200 people have done in the community in the last 2 years.
I have an alternative suggestion. I think the gentleman who's helping LaSalle as an architect, he's very, young guy, he's very aware of what's going on. We could actually ask him to help opine on this, and he might well be willing
Well,
to
to
do
do that,
that.
we could also ask, I also have Sean Williams doing a rendering of the building in some version of a taupe color. We can ask them, get their, ask them, but they said that exact, but if you look on Sean Williams' site, it's the colors of whatever, those are the colors. All the new communities are going those colors, everybody here is going those colors. It's not gray, so it's not blue, and it's not pink, and it's not purplish cut shades. Like the worldly gray that you saw comes up purple. It's different colors, and
I hope we have some options. We're gonna have to live with this for
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah, it's gotta be something that'll stand the test of time.
Well, even gray, everything you read about gray is just.
It's gone.
Well, it's not gray, it's taupe, it's a taupe.
Is it
Yeah.
staying within the northern Italian?
Yes, no, that's the color everybody in the community.
Everybody.
For the 200 people or so have repainted their houses in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Everybody has gone to a taupe. I should say, a few people have gone beige, one person did an off-white, and 95% or more have gone to some version of taupe. Like I said, Cheryl's color house to my color house. So I'm a little darker, you're a little lighter, but that's 95% of people have been in that wheelhouse. And I think that's where, rather than us, me deciding, you deciding, or anybody deciding what it is, that's what the community is deciding.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't make that statement.
Well, the most,
But I think that's
And we
fine.
want the river house to look like everybody's house.
Well, I think it works to ask
I agree.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
ask
Love
this
to ask
architect
that.
that.
I would love to ask them.
It's really good.
Yes.
Yeah, anything I have for my committee was really covered under what Julie said, so.
Any other liaison reports?
okay, this is a question, have you spoken to, Jay about the Welcome Center?
Yes.
Same answer.
Well, what's the question? What about it?
We talked about discuss, possible sale, rent, whatever, have you had this?
The standard answer is there's nothing currently going on. It's still for sale. They've had a couple of people look at it.
No, I thought we were gonna discuss us looking at possibly doing something with it.
Oh, I know, I did, it's a good question. I never got a response to that. I think, I will follow up with him, but I think the answer is they don't wanna
You
deal
would
with it.
prefer to sell it.
They wanna get rid of it,
Okay.
but they haven't officially
Yeah,
said that.
and if that's the case, can we find out what and if that's the case, let's find out what they're asking for it. Just so we have it, I mean, I'm not saying we should do it, but we should know we should know what we're looking at.
Can't you find it, isn't it in the last listing, or is it in
I
a
doubt it. It's commercial.
commercial listing?
I'll find out.
My question, for Brian, like supervisor comments, is general question and the fact that, we've got these private sessions going on in the fitness studio. We have one resident here who takes a class once a week. However, I've got 20 residents that say they're not comfortable walking in there. How do we go about changing the River Club policy to specifically say if you're taking private lessons, it's limited to 2 or 3 people? What do we need to do?
Doesn't the fitness committee have to make that recommendation for
They
policy
did.
change? Well, they did it in the minutes, but it would have to come, you would have to put it on the agenda
Okay,
to say, I'm making that's the next step.
that's my next step.
Yeah, you put it on
All
the
right.
agenda and say you want a policy.
Belinda, that's an agenda item for the next meeting.
But isn't that just included in the discussion on the rules? Does it have to be something separate, or can it just be proposed?
We can make it separate for now,
You
but
think it's better to do that?
because in case anyone wants to come and
Fair
address
enough.
it.
Okay.
But
One person.
yes, if we can do it as part of the rules.
Okay.
I mean, I think
And if this was the only thing,
Okay,
by the way, if this was the only thing, like 6 months from now, when you came to me and said, can we make this change? Yes, without having to do a full rulemaking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my issue is with the volume of usage. We're being generous, letting these instructors use the facility for their private lessons.
I agree.
So I think we need to set up those parameters, whether it's 2 or 3 people. So I will put that on the agenda. Thank you. Thank you, all right, I'm done.
Any other supervisor requests or comments?
Just a couple quick ones. So we talked about the request that Barbara Silkworth had. We had not yet put another POA session on the calendar and said that we would do that once we set the budget date.
But I thought we were gonna do the small leadership
She
council
wants to
first.
do both.
Oh, she wants to do both?
Oh, I vote for just the
Oh, I
leadership
thought,
first.
yeah, I thought that was
I'm
instead
not
of.
in favor of doing both.
Good, okay, then I'll just help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I said, well, what's the difference? And she said, well, one of us is more of a think tank, the other one's operational. So, but that's fine, I will
Tell
leave
them
it
we
with
wanna
me.
start with the think
Leave
tank,
it
Yes.
with me.
and then we will talk later
Yeah.
about.
this one, you get to speak to Barbara and the CA.
Okay, no, that's fine, and
Simply
that's
want
cool.
to come back, report to us, and this one, we'll read.
Yeah, no, that's cool, that's cool. The only other quick thing is, we talked about, maybe we have to deal with this next meeting, we talked about office furniture, and I think one of the first place I'd like to start is, we've got 2 Rosetta employees in 2 large offices, and we've got people who are sitting at little cubicles, we've got Melissa sitting in a bar, with games around her trying to work, so, I wanted to see how you feel about us starting to, at least for where we're not gonna be moving walls around, to look at, getting more modern sized desks and grouping people. So for example, we can have, a spot for Julie to sit when she's here, for Melissa to sit when she's here, for Stephen to sit when he's here. We'd look at using those, maximizing those two offices with modular furniture. You okay with that? Would just be a
I'm
plan.
fine if you
Just
bring
sketch it out.
Put it on the agenda.
I'm good
Okay,
with that.
all right, put it on the
Yeah,
next
but then
agenda.
also, you can also look at the tennis office.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a great room too.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely, yeah, but in short term, long term, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
I have one quick thing, and I just wanna get this on record, that, we did get an email from a realtor who's selling the house on the corner right here by the River Club, saying the pickleball noise is much reduced and is not affecting her buyers at all
Oh,
as
that's
they
great
look at the house. And I would like to say, I've had several people say to me, who walk by here all the time, that the new balls are making a marked difference.
awesome, thank you,
I
I'm so
mean,
glad to
and
hear
I've
that.
noticed when I'm walking the dog, I'm like, oh, it's so much quieter, I mean, I can tell.
New
the
balls
difference.
are
It's a lower frequency, it's not
That's
as-
exactly
yeah.
what it is.
So
And
those
I
new
have-
balls are much better.
And they have not impacted play, that is the
Right.
feedback that I've gotten from
Well,
pickleball players.
And I think the trick is enforcement though.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job.
And I think it's not just the ball,
So-
I walk by, I think it's some people still have rackets that.
I have come up here and taken time out of my day because I've gotten complaints. And I have gone to those pickleball players and looked at, I've asked to see their paddles. They are USA pickleball approved paddles. They are not wooden paddles. It's the quality of the player that is making the difference. So you can look at David Fox or a Mike Seaman out there, or even our tennis pro. And they're gonna hit that ball much harder and stronger, and that's what you're hearing.
Okay.
Because I talked to David Fox specifically, I talked to John. John's another very strong player. They have USA pickleball paddles, USA approved
Because I'm
pickleball
up there,
paddles.
'cause when I walk my dogs, I walk up there and I listen and
Yeah.
It's
and
definitely better.
Take a look at the player. Yeah,
Okay.
if you find somebody like me and you're hearing that kind of sound, then I would question.
got it, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I would be doing.
that is
I only
truly
have one
the case.
comment.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to congratulate Vesta on their much improved resident survey.
Yes.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
Congrats.
Agreed.
Okay. So you need a motion to adjourn?
We do.
I do. I'll make that motion.
Second.
What you think?
All those in favor, please state aye. Meeting adjourned at 1:13 PM. Thank you, everybody.